cynicism is gone.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome to the second to last day of my 31 days of Halloween review series. So we're almost done with this review series. The film I got for you guys today that I'm going to be reviewing was a massive bomb at the box office when it first came out, but over the years I found a great cult following. More and more people discovering this film, and more people are loving this film, and that's Halloween Free, Season of the Witch from 1982.
You don't really know much about Halloween witchcraft. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Halloween, the dead might be looking in. Stop it! The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Halloween Free, Season of the Witch stars Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin, Dan O'Hurley, and is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. The plot of Halloween Free, Season of the Witch is that hospital emergency room doctor Daniel Chalice, portrayed by Tom Atkins, and Ellie Grimbridge, portrayed by Stacey Nelkin, the daughter of a murder victim, uncover a terrible plot by a small-town mask maker, Connor Cochran, portrayed by Dan O'Hurley, a madman who's planning a Halloween mass murder, utilizing an ancient Celtic ritual. So before I get on to the rest of this review, I would like to say, of course, this is, the next stage of of revisiting my Halloween franchise review series, which I've only done the original Halloween 2, Halloween Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and Halloween 2018. There's still a lot of movies in this franchise I've yet to do, so the last 2 days of this month is going to be dedicated to the next 2 Halloween films I've yet to review, and that being Halloween Free, and tomorrow will be Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Right now we're sticking with Halloween Free, and I do actually have some thoughts on this movie, so let's just get right into them. Again, just like with Christine, is the cinematography, which I think is also done by Dean Cundy, I think as well. He's done a lot of work on John Carpenter's movies, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was Dean Cundy. And the film looked great, especially on my 4K TV. I was watching it on Amazon Prime. It looked amazing on my 4K TV. Also, another positive I have with this film, I actually do like some of these characters, actually. You got Tom Atkins, who actually is really great in terms of acting in this movie. I think it was the first film I saw Tom Atkins in, and he does a great job of playing this, honestly, kind of unusual main hero character, actually. You don't see a lot of hero characters like this. In fact, to be honest, if in most movies, this guy would be like the asshole abusive guy in movies that would eventually get killed by whatever evil's in the movie. But no, they actually make this character into the main hero. For some people it could be a negative, but I actually like that different direction, actually. Plus, also, I think Tom Atkins, again, is a great actor in this. I liked his performance. And I think the standout actor in this movie, for me personally, is Dan O'Hurley as the main antagonist, Connor Cochran. His performance is just so good in this movie. He's just relishing in just how evil and maniacal he is. But the thing is with Connor Cochran, he's just, for most of the film, if not all the film, it's just all seemingly nice and charming and everything, and fooling people with his demeanor and everything. Even when Tom Atkins finds out what he's been up to and everything, and just unravels his plot and everything, he still is just like the charming businessman that he was portraying himself as throughout the entire movie. And to be honest, that's kind of intimidating if you think about it. It's like, this guy's crazy and everything, and that he could just fuck you up if he wants to, but he's just keeping a smile while doing it, and just all happy and charming and everything.
Enjoy the horror-thon, Doctor. And don't forget to watch the big giveaway afterwards. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason? Mr. Cuthbert was right, I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children.
And knowing that too, I could tell Dan O'Hurley had a blast with this role. I could tell, even through the special features and making ofs, that he seemed like he had a fun time with it. To be honest, I probably would too if I was in this type of role. And there's one specific moment in this film near the end of the movie that I think cemented how good Daniel Hurley's performance is in this movie. And he gives this whole speech about Halloween, and it's just, ooh, chilling.
You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween. The festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices are part of our world, our craft. Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, you know. The planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And happy Halloween.
Also, another positive I'll give is the music by John Carpenter and Alvin Howard. I even have the soundtrack to Halloween Free Season of the Witch. Oh, great. See, I have the soundtrack to Halloween Free Season of the Witch. Yeah, and I do listen to it from time to time. Definitely one of my, I actually prefer, this may be a bit controversial, but I actually do prefer the soundtrack to Halloween Free Season of the Witch than I do the original Halloween 2. And there's just a lot of really great tracks on this. In fact, my favorites would have to be the main title sequence. It's just and also the main titles, the title sequence that goes over the music is just fantastic. It basically does, kind of a change, kind of does a twist on the Halloween 1 Jack Lantern opening, and instead it's kind of like a computerized version, which is what they were going for, because this whole film was basically, the idea of witchcraft meets the computer age, and I think it works really well. The next track I really like is what's called Chariots of Pumpkins, and it's when it's basically when, after the opening credits and that, you see Ellie's father basically being chased by these men in business suits and everything. Also, I really like the track Drive to Santa Mira, which is when they, of course, go to Santa Mira, which is the home of Silver Shamrock mask making company, where Colin Cochran lies. Oh, and my last favorite, because it's such a song that gets stuck in your head, and that's what it was intended to do, is You know the song.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking.
8 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. It does get in your head. It's probably the most catchy song in this movie, actually. And it's honestly kind of simple how they did it. So basically they were looking for, you know, royalty-free music, like public domain music that they could use because, you know, cost too much money to actually purchase license for music. So yeah, so basically they took the song London Bridge is Falling Down, like London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down, London Bridge is falling down, you know, and basically made that with synthesizers and that, and did the Silver Shamrock stuff. But also another cool thing is the person who did the narration in that, you know, the ones like, it's time. It's time. Time for the big giveaway. The clock is ticking. It's almost time. Stuff like that. It's like, that was actually the director Tommy Lee Wallace, who actually was the production designer on the original Halloween. In fact, he even made that iconic Michael Myers mask. Another positive I have is the effects. The effects are just really good. Especially there's like one moment where one of the characters who's like is tinkering with like the licensing chip or whatever that is on the back of the Silver Shamrock mask, and a fucking laser beam just goes like towards her face and that, and it's just like all gross and everything. And another thing I love about this movie is, like, seriously, there's just Halloween all over the place. This is one of the few horror movies that actually does feel like Halloween in terms of a film that takes place on the holiday. And honestly, I think this feels more like the holiday than even the original Halloween. And definitely one I probably would put on every year in October. Just to, you know, for the atmosphere and just the feeling, like getting the feeling of the holiday. Also, another thing I like too is, which a lot of people didn't like, but I actually do like it, and that's the incorporations of like the kind of connective tissue with the original Halloween. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, like, cause the reason people didn't like this film when it came out was because, oh, it's like, where's Michael Myers? Where's Jamie Lee Curtis? Where's Donald Pleasance and all that stuff and everything? And I think that was because it was titled Halloween 3. And at that point, I think people were expecting another Michael Myers movie. There's kind of like a connective tissue with Michael Myers in this movie. And there's actually some stuff that just overall connects with the original Halloween, first of all, and even the sequel. First of all, of course, you got John Carpenter doing the music, so that's one. Anyway, there's actually a scene in this movie where it's like you have like the woman on the, I don't know what you call it, but basically telling that there's a curfew. It's like, it's 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, curfew, and all that stuff. And that actually was Jamie Lee Curtis doing that voice on there. So, also, speaking of actors returning from the original Halloween, Nancy Kyes, who was Annie Brackett in the original movie, actually is in this movie as Dan Charles' wife, who is named Linda, which I guess is also another connection to the original film, because one of Laurie's friends was, who was portrayed by PJ Souls, was named Linda. Also, another connective tissue is that actually one of the Michael Myers actors is actually in this movie, and that's Dick Warlock, who portrayed Michael Myers in the original Halloween 2. He's actually in it as one of the guys in the business suits, and actually kills one of the characters off, actually. Pretty gruesome way. And also, there's a scene where Dan Chalice is in the bar and everything, and they turn it to a different channel, and it's playing a commercial for the original Halloween, and it's like the immortal classic, brought to you by the Big Giveaway. But yeah, one of the things I'm mixed on about is the pacing at times could be a bit slow. There's just a lot of times of like, Tom Atkins just, kind of sneaking places and stuff like that I think could have been cut down a bit. In terms of like showing him sneaking around and stuff like that. But overall, just in general, I have some issues with the pacing of this movie, and that's it for my mixed thoughts, but I do have some negatives. I mean, one of my negatives I do have with this movie, some of the issues some of you guys seem to have too. Like, for example, even though I did like Tom Atkins in this movie, it is kind of weird to have a character who's just basically a drunk, alcoholic, divorced father who doesn't really spend time with his kids or anything much. And, just, like, he keeps on blowing off his kids and goes off with this woman who is half his age and everything. And there's this one scene that's just, like, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of, too. Knowing that, it's like, they're in the motel room together and that, and it's like, he's like, oh, maybe you should get a different room or something like that. It's like, she's like, where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice? That's a dumb question, Miss Greenwich. And they start making out, and it's like, and the weirder thing with that scene when they start, like there's another scene later where they make out again and everything, have sex, and then it's like, the weirder thing about that is that there's another character in the other motel room in that. And the weird thing is that I found on a documentary is that the actress who portrayed that woman who gets her face blasted in the other motel room was actually a Tom Atkins' real wife at the time. So for me, it's like, I don't know, if I were her, I would be so awkward about that, knowing the fact that my real life husband is actually making out with another woman who is even younger than her in the other room. Like, that'd just be... And it's going to be filmed on camera for the whole world to see. Like, I'd just be weirded out if I were her.
What's that?
Who cares?
That if the roles were reversed, like, let's say if I had my girlfriend or wife in that, and she was an actress and all that stuff, we were in the same movie, and she had to make out with another guy and all that stuff, and I'm like in the same shot basically, I'd feel so uncomfortable with that. In fact, to be honest, I'd probably punch the director. And then another thing is, after, like, even during their second makeout session and that, only then, when they got close to actually, doing the dirty, after that, he's like, only then he's like, oh, wait, how old are you?
Wait a minute. How old are you?
Relax. I'm older than I look.
Why didn't you ask that before? Because if it were me, I'd be like, okay, how old are you? Like, I would try to find some way to make it seem natural in terms of asking her age. And of course, there's some stuff that doesn't make sense, to be honest. Like, for example, I mean, they kind of give a reason for why Colin Cochran wants to kill millions of children around the world in that brilliant scene, like I mentioned, where he gives a speech about Halloween and that. But outside of this, like, why exactly? I'll just let Colin Cochran speak for himself here.
Why? Do I need a reason?
Doesn't really need a reason. I mean, nobody's like that about Michael Myers. It's like, why does he kill and that stuff? To me, actually, it's creepier not knowing the exact reasons for why some of these people do what they do. But I think maybe the reason people kind of question that is the fact that this movie is a much more complicated film than the original Halloween, which was based purely on simplicity. You know, because it was a guy going around killing people with a knife and that, so it's like, okay, you don't really need an explanation for that. And here, it's a bit more complicated, you know, because it's not a slasher movie. In fact, Tommy Lee Wallace, the director, even said Halloween 3 is not a slasher movie like the first two. In fact, he called it considered more of a pod movie like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So yeah, I guess for some people, they just wanted an explanation for what was going on just to make more sense of everything. But I don't know. To me, I think it's kind of creepy. So yeah, there's just certain stuff like that. And also, like, at the end of the film, when Colin Cochran's defeated and everything, like, what happened with that whole thing when Stonehenge just blowed up and everything, like... What happened to Cochran? You know, like, I still don't know to this day. Like, I would not be able to give you an answer to this day. What the hell happened to Cochran at the end of this movie? And also, there's another thing, too, so... Again, a bit of spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled by the movie, fuck it. This is an old movie, so just, you know, most of you guys probably seen it. But anyway, so near the end of the movie, Cochran kidnaps Ellie and everything. Dr. Chalice ends up rescuing her, and after destroying the factory and everything, she goes into attacks Chalice and everything, and it's like...
Ellie, you alright?
Turns out that Ellie's a robot in that scene. And the thing that confuses me with that is like, okay, so what happened? Was she a robot the whole time, constructed by Colin Cochran? Was the real Ellie killed and replaced with a robot doppelganger? Or is Ellie still alive? Actually, is she being tortured by the possibly remnants of Cochran's minions and being alive and everything like that in that damn factory? It's like, what the hell is going on with that? So yeah, there's just quite a few things in this movie that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But honestly, for me, that's it for my negatives. So with that said, I'm going to give Halloween 3 Season of the Witch a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I really do love this movie. I do admit it does have some flaws in that, you know, because for years I've adored this movie and I do notice it does have some flaws. But honestly, for me, this is actually a great, this is actually a great, refreshing spin on just the whole Halloween franchise as a whole. In fact, what they were wanting to do is after the original Halloween 2, because they had Michael Myers killed off and everything, they wanted this after this movie to do have it be a brand new franchise in a sense, and have it be an anthology movie series like Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, and stuff like that, where it would tell different stories that would surround the themes of Halloween and that. And they were planning on coming out with one every year. And honestly, for me, I'm actually kind of curious what that reality would look like. I mean, sure, we would have lost some great films in this franchise like Halloween 4, Halloween H2O, and even Halloween, well, and even okay ones like Halloween 2018 and stuff like that. But then again, we would have not had big flops and blunders like Halloween 5, Halloween Resurrection, some of the stuff in the Rob Zombie. And plus, at least it would be original content. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching. And one more day to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. One more day to Halloween, Silver Shamrock.